Hi, everyone. Life Coach Krista here. How are you all doing today? In my area of the world, it's back to school season. And like many of you, I am navigating the shift in my routine. My daughter starts back this week. My husband, who's a school bus driver, starts back a day before her. And it really is that time of year when our schedules change, our priorities shift, and we find ourselves balancing excitement with a little bit of chaos. What I've noticed is that moms of school-aged kids often land on one side of the fence or the other. They're either anxiously counting down the days until school starts, or they're dreading it. And so maybe you're eagerly looking forward to a quieter house, or maybe you're feeling a bit nostalgic and wishing summer could last a little longer. Personally, I feel like I'm sitting right on the middle of that fence, experiencing a real mix of emotions, a little bit of both. On one hand, I really enjoy getting back into like a new regular routine with more quiet time in the house. I can focus more on my work, which I do mostly from home. And then on the other hand, the shift in the routine brings up these mixed emotions. As summer starts to fade, I'm reminded that another season has come and gone, which stirs up some thoughts about the passing of time and this fleeting nature of these precious moments. So, no matter where you fall on this spectrum, whether you're excited, nervous, or somewhere in between, I want to share some tips to help you make this year's back to school transition a little smoother and a little more fulfilling. And these aren't your typical back to school tips. We're going to dig a little deeper and look at how we can create emotional resilience and a positive mindset as we revamp our routines. Because let's be honest, we could all use a fresh start sometimes, right? So, all right, I'm ready if you are. Let's dive in. So, tip number one is to plan your days with intention. So let's talk about planning. And I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just creating a to-do list or penciling in activities on a calendar. I am talking about planning with intention. Because here's the thing, your life doesn't just happen to you. You're a passenger on this ride. You're not a passenger on this ride. We often live our life like we're a passenger, but we are in the driver's seat. You get to plan what it looks like. I feel like sometimes we lose touch of this, right? So the first step is to really decide what you want your fresh start to look like. I mean, picture it. What would a really good day feel like for you, for your children, for your spouse? What routines, rhythms, and moments would make that day feel fulfilling and balanced? Now, I know we can't control everything. Life is unpredictable. But when we make intentional choices about how we want our days to unfold, we do give ourselves the capacity to handle the unexpected with grace. Planning ahead doesn't actually restrict you, it actually gives you freedom. Freedom to respond instead of react, freedom to create instead of just cope. Looking at my own life, when I plan my day with intention, it's not just about logistics. It's about asking myself good questions to set me up for success. Questions like, how do I want to show up for my family today? What am I running short on right now that will get in the way of me showing up the way I want? What stories am I creating in my mind that will impact how I communicate with my family today? Do I need to take action to lower my stress and overwhelm? What can I do? When will I do it? These are questions that I ask myself every morning as soon as I wake up, and I set my day out with a plan of intention, not for just the to-do list, but how that day is going to unfold for me, what my emotional resiliency is going to look like throughout the day. Very, very powerful, powerful way to look at setting yourself up for success. It has been working for me for years now. I'm so grateful for it. Second tip, embrace flexibility in your routine. While planning is essential, I also want to stress the importance of flexibility. It is so easy to fall into this trap of creating a routine that's so rigid. It becomes more of a burden than a blessing. But here's the truth, life is dynamic. Things happen, plans change, and there will be days when nothing goes according to your plan. And that is okay. Being flexible doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're adaptable. It means you're strong enough to bend without breaking. Emotional resilience isn't about sticking to a plan no matter what. It's about being able to adjust and recalibrate when things don't go as expected. So give yourself permission to have a routine that serves you, not the other way around. This mindset truly will reduce stress. It will help you stay grounded, and it will ensure that your routine adds to your life instead of taking away from it. So in my life, I am one of the most organized people you will probably meet. I have a calendar that I plan out each and every week, and I honor my calendar. Over the last 4 years, I have built up that trust with myself. I am quite productive. I get it done with very little drama from one day to the next. It's amazing. I have also been able to, over that time, create space and flexibility and compassion when I need to bob and weave through a day. Or maybe I need to adjust. Maybe I feel my emotional temperature rising because of things that are happening, and I will honor that. I will notice it and I will honor it. So I have built up this relationship with myself that is so amazing that I can have a plan, be flexible, and give myself grace and compassion when needed. I would love to teach you how to create this for yourself. It is possible. I didn't do this 5 years ago. The last 4 years, I have. Tip number 3, give your children emotional space. So let's talk about this emotional space between you and your children. I think as parents, it's very natural to want the best for our kids. We want them to have a great experience at school, to make friends, to enjoy learning, to come home happy, to do well. But sometimes, in our desire for them to have a positive experience, we blur the lines between their emotions and our own. We start to live through them, and that's where things can get tricky. So in my life, here's what I've learned and what I teach. Your experience and your child's experience are not the same, and they aren't meant to be, and they don't need to be. It's so important for, us to be able to recognize that they're going to have their own emotions, their own challenges, and their own victories. When we try to control their experience, we hover, we manage, we overmanage, we jump in to fix everything. When we do those things, we send the message that they're not capable of handling it on their own, but they are capable. They need to know that they can navigate the ups and downs of life just like we had to learn. And it's very healthy to feel all emotions, not just the ones that feel good. There is a skill and a power to learning how to feel negative emotions. This isn't taught to us, right? Or taught to kind of shoot for happiness, make everybody else happy, don't upset anyone else, right? So in my own life, I have a 15-year-old, but I do believe that this advice in general can really apply to children of any age. I mean, granted, the smaller they are, you have more support and a role that you're playing, but as they age, you are slowly starting to kind of get alongside of them instead of running out in front of them, right? They call them like lawnmower parents. We're out there in the beginning and we're clearing the path for them. And then as they age, we need to be shifting to the side and we're kind of walking along, right? And we're just making sure that they don't get in too deep of a negative situation, right? There's a fine line there. We need to know what that boundary is. But I am very, very intentional about paying attention to my daughter's cues. I don't try to force things anymore. I let go of my over-the-top expectations, and I don't get tied to an outcome any longer. We have boundaries, of course, and expectations for what's healthy and acceptable in our family in the way of behavior and responsibility. But really, I have practiced being able to recognize when my emotions are clouding my judgment and getting in the way. And sometimes that comes from my ego, right? And so notice when you're stepping in too much. Ask yourself, why am I trying to improve their experience? Is it because I'm uncomfortable with their discomfort? Because when we send this energy to our children, they start to question themselves. But when we step back and we allow them to feel their feelings and work through their experiences, we're giving them a gift. We're teaching them resilience, self-trust, and independence. Support them, yes, but let them lead their journey. There is a big difference between supporting and controlling. So try trusting that they can handle it and focus on managing your own emotions. I'm telling you, it is so powerful and it can transform your relationship and it can let you really focus on the things that are the bigger issues and not get bogged down in the little, small, everyday issues that start to grind on you. Okay. You can create space for all of that. Okay, and this wasn't included as really a tip, but I feel like I have to talk about it because it's so important. So maybe this is tip 4. I don't know. It's a bonus tip. We as adults need to notice our emotional temperature on a daily basis. Is your cup running empty? Do you know what it feels like to have peace and calm in your body? To avoid slipping into those autopilot behaviors like impatience and yelling and frustration. It is crucial for parents and mothers to prioritize their own self-care routines. When we don't intentionally carve out time for ourselves, it is so easy to fall into these patterns of reacting instead of responding. Because self-care is not just about indulging in occasional treats, it's about creating a daily practice that nurtures your mind, your body, and your spirit. Whether it's like setting aside quiet time in the morning, incorporating movement into your day, or practicing mindfulness, these small but consistent actions will help you stay grounded and resilient every single day. Without that intentional focus, you may find yourself operating from a place of stress and overwhelm. The demands of motherhood are so constant. And when you don't take care of yourself, it is so easy to become rigid and worried and overwhelmed, right? And be driven by those feelings of fear. But by establishing a routine that includes self-care, you create this buffer against those negative emotions that allows you to show up as a more patient, flexible, and compassionate version of yourself. I have completely transformed the way that I look as a mother. Just ask my kids, they will both tell you. And it feels so darn good. And it was not that hard. I just had to learn new tools and get intentional and practice them day after day until they became part of my normal everyday behaviors and routines. All right, so that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, I'd love if you could click that thumbs up button. It really helps me grow my channel. And you can also subscribe to stay updated on my latest content. And if you think this video could help someone right now who is a mom with kids going back to school, please don't hesitate to share it with them. If you are interested in the support that I offer, I encourage you to visit my website at lifecoachingwithcarissa.com. You will find available times for a complimentary session. I can address your questions and fears or apprehensions and what it looks like to work with a one-on-one personal transformational coach. I have a 12-week transformation program where I guide women through the process of learning emotional management tools and techniques that will change their lives forever. I would love to talk to you more about this. If you think that I could be the answer you've been looking for to find that additional peace and joy in your life, even while you're in the chaotic phase of parenting, I'm telling you it's possible. I have lived it. I've had other clients live it, and I want to bring that to more people in the world. So if you are already back to school, I hope you're getting in the groove. And if your back to school date is approaching, I hope that you can take these tips and apply them and maybe find a new sense of excitement and invigoration as you all head back to your routines and set new ones and get back into old ones and just make it even better than you even thought it could be. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in a couple weeks.